Episode 272. I bet Briarden is having some second thoughts about asking Komoi for help. She's not exactly all there. I mean, she dresses up as a janitor within 5 minutes of becoming the assistant to the consulting inspector. She's not even a real janitor, she's just doing this for fun. At least we look good. Actually, standing next to Briarden, we really do look good. I'm still not sure about the gloves, though. Maybe gloves? Maybe like a hat? Do janitors wear hats? Like this kind of janitor? I don't know. It doesn't matter. We meet again. Doubtless you have much to share. I know I do. Oh yeah, we were supposed to be solving the mystery. I kind of forgot. And by extension, so did Komoi. Do you recall Gibberlant? Is that Gibberlant? I'm gonna say Gibberlant. Do you recall Gibberlant's patron who recently paid off his debts, and the gentleman attempting to attain cough syrups? Upon further investigation, it turns out they share one astoundingly similar facial feature. A pale gray scar, running from the top of their left cheekbone to their jaw. It so happens that this description also matches that of a notorious thug who was known to hang around outside taverns and harass patrons for coin, until an unexpected windfall saw his fortunes vastly improve. He is now rumored to make a living as a traveling merchant, though where he goes and what he sells none can say. We shall find out in due time. But enough of my discoveries. What have you learned? We have a very long list, from your sister. A scroll of testimonies written in Blazy's meticulous hand, outlining any dubious activities shopkeepers and citizens of the jeweled crozier have recently witnessed. By the Fury, this is longer than some scripture. And she compiled it all in less than a single day, you say? Remarkable. Investigation Log Entry 1, Master of Ishgardian Markets. Mistress Elise. Problems? Well, with this recent run of bad weather, we've had plenty. Why, just the other day my back started to give me trouble again, and I've had to hobble from place to place. On the other hand, the crozier, has seen increased trading in oils, furs, and other goods folks begin to crave when it grows cold. So in that regard, I can't complain. Investigation Log Entry 13. Purveyor of Sundries, Pastevele. The other day, there was this one fellow who wanted to purchase robes for a young woman. A merchant, he said. But I've never known one who couldn't be bothered to haggle. Not that I minded, of course. Investigation Log Entry 21. Carvery Nestano. I've barely enough time to fill my customers' orders, much less keep an eye out for foolish girls getting themselves into trouble. Now, if you would excuse me, I really must be getting back to it. I'm expecting several regular customers any minute. Investigation Log Entry 47. Apothecary, PN. There's a reason for this, of course. They're giving us all of this seemingly useless information. They had that whole cutscene where they kind of pointed out how useless this information was, just to bury the actual useful information here. As for which part's actually useful, I don't know. I can't remember, and I can't tell right now. I'm sure Briarden can, though. Mestano has bought my whole stock of cough syrup, okay, there it is, every day for the past week. Passing strange, needless to say. So I followed him and found that he was reselling my products to another. The nerve of some people, I tell you. Actually, I thought there was some hidden information there, maybe just that last bit was the only important part. A gentleman procuring cough medicines to a third party. That story has a familiar ring to it, does it not? A man with a questionable past, recently come into Wills and playing at being a merchant, who so happens to travel with a young girl prone to fits of coughing. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Komoi? I think Komoi probably fell asleep, but the correct answer is... Actually, I wasn't paying attention to the names, so... Pretty sure it's like PN, right? Yeah, that's the one. The last one. What are the other answers here? Don't like the cut of Mestano's jib. Yeah, this guy's pretty rude, wasn't he? Mistress Olace, the master of markets. Why would we keep a close eye on her? I'm just trying to pick the funniest answer here. Pas Devile. And what did this one do? Purchase robes for a young woman. Robes for a young woman. Is this anything? Is this even like some kind of joke? Is there something to read between the lines here? Mystery or otherwise? I'm not sure. Oh, not that. I think we're gonna go with either Pas Devile or Mestano, just as a wrong answer. We're playing the Watson. The Watson that's... Well, I guess Watson is smart on his own, but... We're playing the part of a Watson that makes Sherlock look better by being stupid. Which isn't what Watson's role is. I'm pretty sure not. Not in any incarnation of Watson that I've ever seen myself, but... Point is, we're just making him look good. Pas Devile. Perhaps not. It seems to me that Mestano appears to be colluding with our man. Wait, hang on. Mestano? No, what about PN? Oh no, wait. Mestano is... okay, yeah, that's the one. Oh wait. Mestano was the one colluding, but... I was gonna answer PN as the correct answer. I guess that was actually a red herring, the correct answer. No. PN being the correct answer was a red herring. You might have looked at PN as the source of the medicine, but then Briardine would have redirected you towards Mestano, who was the one buying all of that stuff. I guess it's a reading comprehension test, which I failed on 2 accounts. It seems to me that Mestano appears to be colluding with our man. In time, you may come to understand how I reached this conclusion. But first, we must pay a visit to his stall. Wait, we could have declined that answer and given a different answer. Or declined the reward and given a different answer. There's no way to do it now, though. We've accepted the reward, and now, I guess, well, we could go back and, like, replay the quest through this thing, but that only happens later. And only a select few of these quests ever end up being replayable, but here's one of them, yeah. Well, here's the entire quest line, I guess. Saint Endelum Scholasticate. There's like a lot of these, but a lot of them are also missing too. I'm not sure why only some of them get the New Game Plus treatment. Given how poorly this man has covered his tracks, I am inclined to believe that he will come to the Crozier sooner rather than later, to procure the usual assortment of goods. Let us head there, Komoi. We must follow the trail while it is still fresh. That's why we're just a lowly janitor. We barely understand what's going on. No reading comprehension. I'm just role-playing Komoi's lack of reading comprehension. I myself can comprehend reading. Definitely. Are these guys normally here? Yeah, I think they are. Okay, just generic. It just kinda stood out to me, I don't know. I probably just never look in that direction. Our suspect could arrive at any moment. Keep your eyes peeled. Alright. Let's keep our eyes peeled in this direction. We don't have to spin in this direction, I'm just more role-playing, I guess. If he comes this way to purchase food and medicines from Mestino, as frequently as Blazy's notes indicate, we shouldn't have long. Komoy, over there. That scar. Those robes. That's our man. A pleasure to see you again, sir. The usual. Aye, and don't forget the you-know-what. Hurry, Komoy. We mustn't let him out of our sight. But Messino's just like a normal guy here. And yet he's involved in some kind of crazy thing, I guess. Is this foul play on his part, or is he just like some unwitting third party? We can't even get dialogue out of him, he's just like an NPC for buying. That's it. And I guess that one cutscene too. Now I kinda wish I went with the other answer, don't like the cut of Messino's jib. I was gonna answer that as the wrong answer, but then it would have been a funny, oh, but Komoy accidentally guessed the correct answer somehow situation. I didn't do that though. I was hoping for some kind of special, I don't know, dialogue depending on which answer you give. It seems like it's just a right or a wrong with Guardian for that. That one answer. Perhaps we should try to take it a little bit more seriously then. This isn't exactly the Hildebrand questline, so can't always expect a funny answer out of every dialogue option. Our suspect just passed through the Ark of the Worthy, where there are like to be fewer people. Take care not to be spotted. All the way out here, huh? It's always strange whenever people go out into the wilderness where there's random monsters that will be out to kill you. Like that giant gobio over there. Or these random birds that are aggro. I guess it makes sense for merchants to just be traveling through these places anyway, but just seeing this site, Null, next to this chocobo-drawn cart, kind of breaks immersion just a little bit. You, do your job. Take care of that thing. But for the purposes of the story, Null doesn't exist. It would appear our suspect is not alone. He has a guard with him. I should like very much to know the contents of that carriage. Keep them distracted while I sneak past, will you? Approach them and announce you are here to conduct a surprise inspection. You will undoubtedly command their full attention, for a sufficient amount of time. Are you ready, Komoy? Very good. Okay. Surprise inspection from the janitor. Sure. The only way for us to ascertain his guilt or innocence is to search that carriage. Pray keep the merchant and his guard distracted, that I might sneak in. With chat mode and say the word inspection in any phrase. We have to stand over here and yell inspection? I see. Okay, yeah, so that guy comes this way and Burden goes towards the back. I got it. We get out the old keyboard here. And we can say anything we want, but the game allows you to say anything that contains the word inspection. So we'll say OU. Surprise Janitor's inspection. And I like to imagine Komoi's putting on some kind of false Cockney accent that she learned in the broom. And she's not doing it very well. Surprise Janitor's inspection? What in the seven hells are you on about? You're no janitor. You've no right. Unless... I trust the goods the goods have been properly secured, and the carriage is ready for a quick getaway if necessary. Right then, where were we? Ah yes. We will not be consenting to your inspection. Now kindly piss off. Damn it, boy, what are you doing? My apologies, sir. I thought I saw movement around back. Maybe I should go and check. Idiot! Can't you see this goon is intent on starting a fight? Take care of her first, and conduct your checks after. As for you, you should have run while you still had the chance. Alright, I guess we're fighting after all. Little did you know this janitor knows magic. Apparently. There's actually more fighting in this quest than I would have thought. We incapacitated them with fireballs. They're fine. Komoi, it was as we suspected. The thug and his guard have been holding Ula hostage in the back of this carriage ever since she vanished. Though this ordeal has undoubtedly caused her a deal of distress, she does not appear to be physically injured. While you are doubtless eager to question her, as I am, she must be given time and rest to recuperate. These two, on the other hand, need not be afforded any such consideration. You there. What is the meaning of this? Oh no, it's the real janitor's inspection. The Temple Knights also do double duty as janitors. Someone has to. Ah, it seems that all that earlier commotion has drawn the attention of the janitors. Excellent. They can deal with the ruffians. I shall escort Ula to the Scholastic dormitory and speak with the instructors. When all has been settled, let us speak again at St. Raymonand's Cathedral. It's funny that Briardian was introduced in Hildebrand's quest as a sort of foil to Hildebrand. But more often than not, he's still the butt of the joke, right? I mean, everyone in Hildebrand. That entire questline ends up being the butt of the joke at one point or another. But outside of that, he's just like a normal inspector. He's competent. More competent than that questline that's on. I guess I could have teleported over there. We're just over here, so we can walk. Why does this drawbridge exist anyway? You can just go around the stairs over there. If you raise the drawbridge, does that increase your defense somehow? I guess it's maybe somehow supposed to, I don't know, block the advance of whoever storms the gates or something. But the only things that Ishgardians usually worry about are dragons, right? Well, I guess sometimes heretics who are on foot. And if you do raise the drawbridge, then I guess that funnels people through this one area which is more easily defendable. Sort of like a tower defense game where you purposefully leave a weakness in your defenses. Just route everything through there. Or something. I just want to jump down there and, here. Let me do this. There we go. If there's going to be more fighting in this quest, I think I'll actually probably have to bust out the old machinist gun. It probably looks better for the janitor, I think. Maybe. Do I want to do that now before we continue? I already wasted so much time a couple episodes ago just messing with this glamour. It'll only take a second though, right? I think. Just keep waiting, Guardian. He's really doubting asking Komor for help now. Always running off, working on her stupid janitor costume. It didn't even work. They didn't even believe she was a janitor for the inspection. I hope this will be quick. Just gotta shuffle a few things around. Like this. No, wait, that's still that, so yeah. I just want to put our usual thing back to this. That, and then the hat, I guess. And then this. No, wait, we don't usually have the gloves. These gloves. You know what, we don't have to do this part. We just need the machinist. This one, okay. We'll modify this one. So where would be... You know what, just create a new one. Over here. Or wait, I can just use this one, obviously. And put on the gun, right. In fact, I didn't even have to go all the way here, I could have just done this. How stupid of me. This is why we're the Watson and Guardian's the Sherlock. There, and instantly we're exactly what I want it to be. Do I want to hide the gun? Yeah, I kinda like the toolkit on the left side. But the gun kinda stands out a little bit, so hide it, like that. Alright, stupid detour complete. That was probably the last time we have to fight in this questline anyway, so this was probably worthless. You should be glad to hear that Ulan will be fine. Sister Gatel is with her now, tending to her needs as we speak. Oh wait, the glasses. I forgot the glasses. Damn it. I expect she will soon be strong enough to answer our questions. Until then, however, we must make do with what information the Temple Knights can extract from the kidnappers. Unfortunately, while the ruffians confessed to abducting Ulan in exchange for a large sum of gil, they have told us little else of value thus far. Apparently, their employer draped themselves in such thick furs that they could not even say if it were a man or a woman. They claimed this cloaked figure offered no explanation as to why they wanted to snatch the girl and keep her confined to the carriage indefinitely. And so they had no choice but to keep moving, to stay ahead of the Temple Knights and await further instructions. Hopefully, we will learn more as the interrogations progress. I fear, however, our mastermind has cloaked themselves in layer upon layer of secrecy, and it will take more than a few pointed questions to penetrate all of them. Oh, is that the end of this set of patch quests for like 3.2? But regardless of how well they have hidden their intentions and their identity, we will bring them to justice soon enough. I think whenever they sound the bells, that's usually the signal for the end of that set of quests. And once we learn all that we can from our friends in the Temple Knight's custody, as well as Ola, we will be that much closer to restoring peace to the Scholasticate. Yeah, this would have been like a months, maybe even years-long mystery as people waited for the patches to come out. To shine the light of truth upon the secrets buried in the dark, the children once more come together, that they may know her power and her glory. The glasses. I should be worried about the mystery, but I'm just worried about my stupid clamor. There, perfect. Until I change my mind again. Ah, Komoy. I was wondering when you'd show up. The Temple Knights have deemed Ula fit to recount the events of her kidnapping, and have taken her into the room just beyond for questioning, with Blazy to accompany for support. It would appear the questioning is done. Let us see what we might learn. Hail, my good man. I am Inspector Riordan, and this is my associate, Komoy. I understand you have spoken with Ula regarding her kidnapping. Is there aught you might share with us? Inspector Riordan, Mistress Komoy, I fear that it would seem the Lady Ula knows even less of her own abduction than we do. As she tells it, the only people she saw during her captivity were the two thugs now in our custody. We've questioned them twice over, but they insist their employer had disguised themselves so well, they cannot even say, or say for certain, if they are a man or a woman, much less give us a description. For what little it's worth, we did learn that the two were once orphans, raised as charges of the sea, to betray the nation that fed and clothed them for a handful of corn. But I must return to my post. Should we come across anything of actual significance, I shall be sure to alert you. Blazy, are there any details our friend may have neglected to mention? I feel that Ula's testimony proved entirely unenlightening. There is another development, however, that has been troubling me. Rumors that our combatant was behind the abduction are circulating around the Scholasticate once more. Again with those asinine allegations. And this time the students seem convinced more than ever of his guilt. No longer content to sit back and wait for events to take their course. They've been pushing for his expulsion. Theo has been doing his best to convince them to disregard the rumors, but it seems any mention of our combatant only serves to fuel their rage. I must hurry back and help him. I suspect that this is less a reflection on the prefect himself, then a manifestation of aimless anxiety and fear. It's come full circle. People outside of the Scholasticate were aimlessly blaming the people within it, and now the Scholasticate itself is doing the same thing to our competent. Kinda funny how that works. I mean, it's supposed to be that way. It's writing, it's poetic. Still, I dare say this commotion might prove to be an opportunity in disguise. I shall make my way to the vault to continue my own investigations. In the meantime, I ask that you go and keep an eye on the seminarians, and an ear to the ground. I guess we don't actually get to talk to Ula. For some reason they use Blazy and that one Temple Knight as a hand wave to make you not talk to her or something, for whatever reason. Maybe it's just like part of the mystery. You don't get all the details straight from the horse's mouth or whatever. And what if those ruffians truly were in his employ? Are we to stand idly by until he betrays one of us, as he did poor Ula? His refusal to provide us with anything resembling a reasonable explanation speaks for itself. The boy is guilty, and I say we move to have him expelled from the Scholasticate, effective immediately. Theomacint, I demand that you take lead of this charge. What? Little Theomacint? Why him? Thank the fury you've come, Komoy. Since the headmistress called everyone away for an emergency meeting, it's been absolute chaos. They're so incensed, they won't listen to a word Theo or I say. Perhaps if you were to speak with them, it would help to soothe their angry feelings. Okay, let's soothe them. Let's soothe them by laughing at them. Pardon me, ma'am, but we are currently engaged in a discussion of the utmost import. If there is something you absolutely must bring up with me, please see that you do it later. Okay, so that's the wrong dialogue. And we'll get to the right dialogue in a second. Let's just talk to everyone first. So what if we've no proof that he had a hand in Ula's abduction? He's guilty of so much more than that. Just ask anyone who suffered under his reign of terror. That's a fallacy. Just because he's, I don't know, terrorizing you every second of the day, doesn't mean he's particularly guilty of this one crime, by extension. One thing's for sure, if he didn't deserve it for this, he deserved it for something else. I think we should let the student body have him. Yeah, that's a slippery slope. The frustration and anxiety that's been building ever since Ula first went missing has finally come to the surface. And for better or worse, it's all being directed at our competent. I fear their anger will drive them to do something we'll never, or will forever regret. Please, can you try and talk some sense back into them? I'm sick of our competent always pushing us around. If we don't take action now, what's to stop him from continuing to make our lives miserable, or worse? Everyone, please, calm yourselves. Before we take any drastic measures, let us discuss the matter like rational men. Enough is enough. I refuse to tolerate his presence within these halls for even one more day. Alright. Soothe down, buddy. On second thought, I dare say you have the right of it. The prefect has the riches of House Zamail at his disposal, and powerful allies just waiting to spring to his aid. We must step back and consider our actions carefully, lest we find ourselves strung up by the necks. You actually think that would happen? That's kind of a leap in logic, maybe. I don't think they'd actually do that here in Ishgard, but I don't know, maybe some of their laws are that backwards. I guess they do still have the old trial by combat. So, you would suggest we do nothing? The longer we dither without taking action, the greater the risk of him finding us out. And when he does, he'll see every last one of us suffer for it. Mark my words. He is frightened, as we are, as are we all. But that is precisely why we must proceed with caution. As you rightly observed, if we act out of anger or despair, we only doom ourselves to failure. Please, man, if you would, rally his spirits, as you have calmed mine down. My words will do little to console him. Your composed manner and unwavering confidence, however, shall go a long way to rally his spirits. Well, just because he said all those nice things about us, we'll do it. Come on, rally up, buddy. But of course, it is exactly as you say. Forgive me. My fear had gotten the better of me. Indeed, there is little he can do to us if we act as one and proceed with due caution. And remember, once our combatant is removed from this school, the administration will keep us safe. So we need not fear his retribution ever again. We must move swiftly but surely to ensure his expulsion. Diomacint, can we count on you to lead us? There is no point in worrying over things that have not and may never come to pass. If we proceed with due caution, there is naught we need fear. Diomacint has a mind as sharp as any in these halls. If he leads our charge, I'm convinced that our combatant will find himself without a leg to stand on. And what about you, Janchet? We didn't ask you what you feel. And not long ago, these self-same students would look down on their noses at Diomacint, while groveling at our combatant's feet. I did actually notice that, yeah. Our combatant seemed kind of popular during that whole competition to bring in students back to the Scholasticate, the truant students. And he seemed to convince some people, but I don't know. Maybe they're just eager to turn on anyone. Oh, how the tides have turned. Thank you, Komoi. Now that everyone is feeling more at ease, let us open the floor for discussion. I welcome any and all opinions, provided that they are delivered in a calm and orderly fashion. I believe there is just cause to expel our combatant. As Komoi was kind enough to point out, however, we should not act rashly. That is why you, Diomacint, with your calm demeanor, are best suited to head our appeal to have him removed. What say you? Okay, that's an interesting argument. I mean, to have Diomacint do all of this. He's kind of like not neutral, but calm isn't exactly the right word here. It's, I guess, level-headed? He's level, yeah. Tempered, even. Given the way that he's treated you in the past, I can understand why you'd readily assume the worst of him. I cannot help but believe, however, that he too is a victim in all this. I strain to think that anyone who cares so deeply about the Scholasticate and its inhabitants could commit such an atrocity. Theo, for the Fury's sake, you would defend the very individual who for the past several years ridiculed and tortured us. Is it so impossible for you to believe that he is capable of such villainy? He does have a point, though. I mean, we don't exactly have reason to trust him in the first place. Diomacint isn't exactly completely right to believe in innocence until proven guilty, but I guess that's what he's going with. Oh wait, no, that's exactly what he's saying. Until there is proof to say he is guilty, we must give him the benefit of the doubt. Theo is right, Lay. I bear no great love for our combatant either. But even the Temple Knights have been unable to uncover a single piece of evidence tying him to the kidnapping. The same knights who have pulled the wool over our eyes for 1,000 years, stripping us of all we own to protect men like him. How heartening that is to hear. And you're part of that, aren't you? You're part of the Scholasticate that's been lying to everyone for the past 1,000 years. I would have thought that after all you'd endured at our combatant's hands, you would stand with us. I see I was wrong. Friends, it would seem the commoner has grown too content, under the nobleman's yoke, to fight for his ideals. If we are to see justice served, we must do so with our own strengths, our own voices. Let us draft a petition, that our grievances might be heard and the blackguard expelled. How can they be so blind? The villain who kidnapped Ola is playing us all for fools, stoking the flames of hatred, that we might all be consumed by them. So yeah, this would be the first quest in, I guess, patch 3.3, and it's kind of taking an immediate turn from where we were last time. I guess after months and months of waiting for this one mystery, you don't want everything to be, well, predictable or straightforward, right? So now suddenly we're trying to defend our combatant. And I'm sure by the end of the last quest, most people probably didn't think the obvious guy, our combatant, was actually behind it all. And he could still be, but I guess where we're at now is the point in the story where we're disregarding the red herring, I guess. Or proving the red herring is not the actual herring. Whatever, I don't know. I can understand not wanting to condemn the man without solid evidence, but Theo practically threw himself on the bastard's burning pyre back there. And for what? He suffered the most at our combatant's hand. Why does he still try to help him? Well, that's up to Theo, I guess. He's allowed to do whatever he wants. And I guess as his friend, Lei's just trying to keep him from self-immolating, I suppose. Theo is a man of unwavering principle. That's what I admire about him. I wish I too were possessed of such staunch conviction. There's no stopping an angry mob, I fear. Oh no. That's kind of a heavy coming from him, knowing what happened to his family. I wonder if any of us will emerge from this unscathed. If only I could have done something, or done more to dissuade them. This blind persecution will only serve to further divide us, and our combatant's expulsion would be a tremendous loss for the Scholasticate. Why will no one listen to reason? Theo, there's still time to turn things around, I'm sure of it. I'll help you in any way I can. Thank you, Blazy, for your kind words. Indeed, it's not too late to reverse the course of today's events. We should try speaking with Father Saturnor. Surely he'll know what to do. Incredible. Despite all that, he's still intent on saving our combatant. Komoi, there's no talking him out of it now. Considering how our last discussion ended, it would put me much at ease if you would accompany us. I shall be staying behind. There are a few things that I would attend to here, my dear Blazy. If you would, I could do with an extra pair of hands. In that case, Lei, Komoi, let us make haste to the cathedral. The headmistress's meeting will not run forever, and we must catch Father Saturnor before the others do. Why are you guys staying behind? Forgive me for keeping Blazy. I required the aid of someone with a keen eye for detail, and she was the first one that came to mind. I can't bear to see Theo looking this sad, or so sad. I'd do anything to put a smile back on his face. Father Saturnor, we need to talk to you. It's about our combatant. Father Saturnor, please, we need your help. I may have forgotten whose voice was whose back there for a second. It doesn't matter. There's so many people talking, and in between episodes there's no way I'm gonna remember who sounded like what. We're just here to get through the story. Diomacent, Lay, and Komoy, whatever brings you here in such a hurry? Ah, mayhap it concerns the petition I just received from the student body. Not to worry. Rest assured that I have reviewed the document, and will be submitting it to the headmistress shortly, along with my own strong recommendation in favor of our combatant's immediate and irrevocable expulsion from the Scholasticate. Yeah, this might have been foreshadowed already. When we first talked to this guy, or when we talked to him and Lay and Theo, it seemed pretty clear that he didn't think too highly of the highborn. The way that they treat the other students, I guess. He's not entirely blind to the bullying. Wait, Father, we are not here in support of the petition, but rather to argue against it. We cannot rightly expel our combatant for a crime that the evidence, or lack thereof, suggests he did not even commit. And we also want to get back at him on our own terms, right? We can't bully him if he's not in school. Quite true, and yet it is not because I believe him guilty that I have chosen to move forward with this proposal. Then why? For too long has our church been corrupted by men and women who would see its foundation built upon sin instead of virtue. I mean to put an end to this vicious cycle. Wait, what are you saying? Diomacent, Lay, there is something you must know. When I was young, I too was taken under the wing of Father Coiseau. It was by his good graces that I gained admission into the Scholasticate, not unlike yourselves. I devoted myself entirely to my studies, that I might prove myself worthy of his kindness. My dedication was rewarded when I graduated at the top of my class, and secured a prized position in the archives, alongside some of the Holy See's most esteemed individuals. It was there that I met the man who would become my closest friend and confidant. For 10 years he had toiled in the sea's darkest recesses, working to see the day, or see that the ugly truths of Ishgard's past would never see the light of day, until the day the burden grew too great to bear, and he took his own life. For years I was torn between grief and anger, and not being able to save him from his fate. Fearing my anguish would consume me, I found succor in my religion. Day and night I'd pore over scripture, and soon found myself back in these very halls, not as a student, but as a teacher. A tragic story indeed, and you have my condolences for your loss. But what does any of this have to do with our combatant? Of the Fury's love will all men receive, and by the balance of her sphere will all be set free. Doubtless you too are familiar with these words. Those who deny the teachings of Volume 11 commit the greatest sin of all. They must bear full responsibility for the injustices wrought on the victims of our society. Master Arcombadan has done naught but scorn the truths penned within the tome. His dismissal is long overdue. Even Lay is seeing how weird this is. This is madness. The Fury knows I bear no love for the bastard, but what you propose is to lay the blame for generation upon generation of the Church's transgressions at his feet. I do only what must be done. Countless lives were lost in the Dragonsong War. We must needs purge the Church of any who espouse the false ideal that all men are not born equal, that the sins of our past are never repeated, and that the clergy might be restored to their former glory. I have faith in you, my children. Reflect on the teachings of Father Coiseau. If you do not understand now, you will soon enough. It is true that Father Coiseau was an ardent advocate of equality, who strove always to adhere to the principles espoused in Equal under her ever-watchful gaze. 'Tis equally true that Arcombadan has been outspoken in condemning that self-same passage. Still, that hardly warrants his expulsion. You must admit, the man has a point. Okay, he's being brought over to his side. Making an example of the son of one of Ishgard's most prominent houses would send a message. And it just might be the fastest way to bring about the change he seeks. Whether or not that change would be for the better, however, is another matter entirely. And this is how extremists are born, I guess. It was one thing when it was just an angry mob of seminarians calling for a combatant's head. Now Father Saturnor intends to lead the charge. Or now that Father Saturnor intends to lead the charge. It's another matter entirely. Whatever are we to do? Speak with our combatant? Not sure. Let's, put our combatant to the sword. Interrogate him. But of course, our combatant's nothing but nothing if not astute. Am I reading this right? Yeah. He's sure to have an idea or two on how to extricate himself from this predicament. Come, let us make for the pillars. We only ever see that one room of the Scholasticate. You would think we'd find our combatant and I guess Lebrosor and most of these guys. And pretty much anyone just like hanging around the dorms, but we don't see that side, ever really. I guess it's fine that they're making use of the entire Ishgard area though. Like this one little corner that you would otherwise have no reason to come to. You get to see it as a little hangout spot for the students, maybe. Like they're leaving a class after, I don't know, a hard day of learning scripture or something. And they just hang out in the cold snow in this kind of barren patch of grass or something. All the cool kids do it. So that's why our combatant hasn't been rampaging about the Scholasticate. Call me crazy, but I almost feel sorry for Leprosol. Komoy, what should we do? I've never seen them like this. Oh, trouble in paradise? Leave us. This has nothing to do with you. What baseless accusations would you care to hurl at me this time? Attempting to destroy the church? Or perhaps you're here to bring to light the personal hand I had in instigating the Dragon Song War? Did you, though? Perhaps instead of entertaining every ridiculous rumor you hear, you might actually make yourself useful for once. You can start by questioning those two beside you. After all, they're the ones who arranged this entire farce, and have been spreading these letters in a pathetically transparent attempt to incriminate me that I might be expelled. Please listen, our combatant. We know that the accusations being leveled at you are unfounded. I know we've had our differences, but today, we come to lend you our aid. He's so full of rage. He can scarce hear a word I say. Please, Komoy. Perhaps you should try soothing him. Sure. But now that the tables have turned, maybe we try laughing at him first. Bask in this small victory while you can, for this fight against House of Mail shall not be forgotten or forgiven. Okay, we're done laughing. Huh, don't make me laugh. You expect me to believe that you, the two who would stand to gain the most from my expulsion, have not so much as seen the nonsense that's been making the rounds in the dormitories? The truth revealed, our combatant is Mile, a kidnapper. Trust me, Were we to try and implicate you in a crime we didn't commit, or you didn't commit, we would have done a far more thorough job than this. Indeed, these writings simply make an appeal to emotion, with not a single piece of concrete evidence to support the accusation. Fine. Perhaps it wasn't you two after all. Still, you rest assured that when I get my hands on the commoner that did this, they'll rue the day they thought to meddle with the affairs of House of Mile. You best realize we commoners are not the ones on trial here. You are. I suggest you watch your tongue, unless you would prefer to lose the only allies you seem to have these days. Yeah, be nice to the janitor. Do not lose heart, our combatant. Together, we'll uncover the truth and see that this baseless petition against you is withdrawn. Why would I need your help? My innocence is beyond question, and the Fury herself will see my good name restored. I pray that she will. In the meantime, we too shall do our part. Fury's sake, Theo, leave it be. That aside, where did these papers even come from? And why didn't we receive one? Inflection, it's important. If I had to guess, perhaps they were given only to those most inclined to believe the accusations. Foolishness at best. If anything, these letters will only give me the clues I need to identify the coward behind them. As a matter of fact, I believe I know precisely where to begin my search. Brilliant. We would be more than happy to assist you in the investigation. Where would you have us go? And hand you the very knife you would put in my back? Do you think me daft? If the petition is approved and I'm expelled, that would put you right at the top of the class. How very convenient. Oh, our combatant, don't you see? It is not for awards or accolades that I study the scripture as I do. I seek only to follow in the footsteps of Father Courcelle. It was he who granted me the chance to achieve the grand vision he had for our realm, and bring relief to those in need of spiritual succor. Of the Fury's love will all men receive, and by the balance of her spear will all be set free. I would share the wisdom of these words with all of Ishgard. Volume 11 of the 72 Articles of Hellenic Polity. What is it with commoners and their obsession with that over-idealistic creed? Screed? Screed. That's a word, I guess. Come, my combatant, let us not waste any further time entertaining the idle musings of the riffraff. Look, we can manage just fine without your help, but if you do find anything, not that we expect you to, you'll report back to us if you know what's good for you. Understood? Har har. You think you're still the bullies in charge, but we're above you now. We're the bigger bullies in the picture. Not really. Theo couldn't possibly be a bully if his life depended on it. Maybe Lei, but us definitely. If I didn't know better, I'd almost say that sounded like a thank you. Well, if there's nothing else to do here, I suppose we should set to work. An excellent idea, Lei. Now, where do you propose we should start? The Fury save us. And on that note, I guess these three bozos are going to consider where exactly they're going to start. They have no idea. I guess the Amasin might have an idea based on the exclamation mark above his head. But other than him, no one else has any idea. Not Komori, not Lei, and not the duck. Now would be a good time to take a break.